Hey folks, we're back at Atlassian Europe and we're here with my new friend Sanchan and we're talking about work and AI and collaboration. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
I've been dying to ask you this question since saw you on the list, but you guys have all these tools for collaboration and work and I just have to ask, is there something wrong with the way we work today? And what is it?
Great question. I would say it's not that there's something wrong with the way we work today, but it's truly true that there is something that can be better. The way we work today is tied up to silos. For example, we see all of our customers talk about how information is locked up in different tools, in different systems that they're using across their organization, and bringing all that together can unleash a lot of productivity. My favorite stat is that almost a day's worth of equivalent time is spent per week searching for the right information, trying to find what they need. Oh, who's that person that I should contact? Where is that information about a new marketing plan? How can I search it? How can I find it? And that truly is a big inefficiency. And coming in and living in the AI world, man, I'm so excited about how we solve that.
So what exactly is in the collection here that you're managing? Because there's a video tool, there's something that it's Confluence, I think, and a couple other things, and then the AI agents. What is that portfolio exactly?
Yeah, great question. So Teamwork Collection is a collection of products like Jira, Confluence, Loom, together, deeply integrated to help solve only one problem, which is how do teams collaborate within each other. It's a set of tools for HR, finance, marketing, you name any team. They all need collaboration. So Jira allows you to plan and track your work. Confluence allows you to collaborate for creating documents, creating knowledge, unleashing knowledge. And Loom is our asynchronous tool where you and I are in different time zones, right? If I want to send you something, I have only two options. I can send you a long email and bore you, or I can send you a long Slack and bore you. But you're never going to be able to see my gestures, my emotions, how I feel when I'm talking to you, and those tools. But Loom allows you to take a video of this kind of a conversation and set it up so that you know exactly what I'm saying, why I'm saying it. You get the full picture of what I'm saying. And that's the third tool that is part of Teamwork Collection.
So it's kind of like an asynchronous version of a Zoom call, but I get a message from you and I can understand what you're trying to tell me and I get all the gestures.
Yeah. I mean, you get all the context, the full human body picture. In other words, communication is rich not because of the things that I'm saying, but also of the things that I'm communicating through other means, right? When we are talking, you can pick up a lot of cues around what I'm saying, the tone that I'm saying, the way I'm saying it. And that's the full body communication, if you may, that humans do. And Loom allows you to do that. Now, it is true that Loom started off as an async tool where I can send something to you in the night, you wake up in the morning in your time zone, you can watch it. But now we also have enhancements. So for example, we do believe that certain meetings are really important because certain meetings is where decisions get made, key work gets formulated, right? But a lot of people just sit through those meetings without knowing what their role is. So what ends up happening is when the meeting ends, that information gets lost, right? Because you discussed a bunch of things. Maybe someone took notes, right? Maybe, right? But the information does get lost. So now we have Loom for meetings. And what that does, it sends a meeting AI note taker to all your meetings. And it'll automatically capture what were the key decision points, what were the key action items, who said what, who has the assignment. But the beauty is that Loom and Jira are deeply integrated, and so is Confluence. So once the meeting is over, the Jira work item that you talked about updating, well, guess what? It's automatically updated. When you show up in Jira, you just press a button saying, yep, I was in that meeting. Yep, I know we discussed this. Press a button, the work item is updated really easily.
Nice. To your point about Loom, and I don't think a lot of people really realize this, but when you get an email, the tone is really dependent upon the mood of the recipient, not the sender, and a lot of miscommunication as a result of that because I might be in a bad mood and suddenly I think you're yelling at me when you're just kind of like trying to send me a message. So, do people understand that kind of subtlety, or is it something they realize after they start using Loom?
Yeah, I think great point. I think a lot of people that we chat with understand the nature of what we call full body communication, meaning it's not just the verbal cues, but overall communication that people are doing with the hand gestures, with the tone, how they're speaking. So a lot of people, a lot of consumers, a lot of users who are in companies where that is valued, they pick it up immediately. But for some, it takes time to understand the value of it. So in other words, we tell them to try it for certain use cases. Simple example. I got to provide a status update to you about my project. Now, this event is happening. It's a pretty massive event. Different teams are working together, and we need to know, is the venue going to be ready? Now, I can send you a long Slack, or I can get over there and say, man, that part is ready, but this part isn't, and it's kind of dependent on some other things. So you get the full context of the communication through that. So it depends on the company, the culture, the industry that you're coming from. For example, in the US, the new generation of employees that are there, they get on Loom easily. They grew up in a world where video communication is the norm. FaceTime is the norm. Instagram is the norm. So when they join the workforce, it is absolutely clear that they don't want to send an email. They don't want to write up a giant email and send it out. They would rather jump on a Loom and provide an update, share. Even simple cases like bug reporting. All of us encounter bugs in our products. Right? Now I have two options. I can write a long text to say, click here, do this, click here, do that. Or I could just record a Loom of the bug that I just saw. It could be on my mobile device. So Loom has a mobile recorder. It could be on my desktop. It has a web recorder. And you can say, look, this is where I clicked, this is what happened, and this is the error I got. That goes straight into Jira, gets embedded inside of Jira. So when the engineer picks that up, they watch the real reproduction of the bug rather than trying to decipher, did Sanchan mean to click here or there? Where did he click? A visual communication. We all know a picture says 1,000 words. A video probably says 10,000 words, right?
It's true.
And the power of video is the power of Loom.
Yeah. And one of the things that drives people crazy, especially those engineers, is they'll spend hours trying to replicate the bug,
That's right.
which only probably takes them about 2 seconds to fix.
1,000,000%. And this is the biggest challenge between knowing the details of what you need to do, which is called context, than actually doing it. If we can solve the context problem where you get to know exactly what's happening, where the bug is, which part of the flow it is, the engineer can solve that problem very quickly. And Loom allows you to do that. We're also announcing Loom for bug reporting. So if you go to Loom, it can also capture your error logs with it from the screen that you're on, right? And when the engineer receives it, they're like, wow, I got the video and the details. I don't have to send them a message to say, hey, can you send me the error logs as well? It all comes packaged in. And as you know, engineers work in Jira. They have issues to track. All of this gets embedded right in the Jira work item. So you're not looking inside of Slack or email, where is that Loom? No, it's right there in the work that you're doing.
Nice. So we're at this show, and if you walk around, every second booth says AI.
Right.
So what will be the impact that AI is going to have on the way we work? And we see all these agents now. Are they members of the team? And how do I manage them? Do I develop a relationship with my AI agent? How's this going to play out in your mind?
Great question. I think we are living in a world where human productivity is just getting increased significantly. I'll take a few examples here. The way to think about human work is that there's always this part of the work that is creative, and then there is other part of the work that is drudgery. It's things that you just do so that you get the chance to do the creative work.
That's true.
Right. So the phase that we are in right now is that AI is picking up all the drudgery, all the things that you don't add much value, but it's part of the work. It's important to do it. Example, we just announced Rovo has skills of project management, which is basically Rovo is our AI version. And what happens is if you're a project manager, one of the things you have to do is every Friday, you got to go clean up Jira and then provide a status update to your boss or the team. Right? Now, that is an important part of your job, and you cannot get away with it. Like, you have to provide updates. But it's part of the job that's repetitive, not creative, and there's a lot of people who probably don't enjoy spending their Friday evenings sending their boss a status update. And that's where AI comes in. Rovo has skills for project status update. All you do is ask Rovo, hey, I got to send out a project status update for this event. Rovo will go and look at all the work items, see what you worked on, what I worked on, whether we were blocked, what are we blocked on, are we escalating something, and come back with a great summary of what's happening over there. And all this project manager or the leader has to do is review it, make edits, of course, right? Add some other context as well. And that part of the work is now packed up to be delivered to the stakeholders in your organization. That's just one example of how AI is going to help us. On your question around agents, we are excited to introduce a lot of third-party agents inside of Jira. So for example, Canva, Databricks, and all of these agents are coming to your team inside of Jira. So what you can do is you can assign Canva AI agent in a Jira work item if you're a designer. And what it'll do is look at what image you're trying to create, what size do you want in, what kind of backdrop do you want it, and it'll get to work inside of Jira. So now, instead of me assigning that work item to a human, I can assign it to Canva agent, because Canva agent is now part of my team. And it can spit out that output right inside of Jira, and I never left Jira to get the work done, and my productivity increased significantly. The last thing I'll say is humans now, in my opinion at least, are getting freer and freer to do the thing that they do best, which is creative work. All the drudgery around that can now be, so to say, delegated to AI as well. So AI is going to help us improve our productivity, unleash our creativity. The bottleneck no longer is execution, meaning, can I write this code or not? Because AI is going to help you with that. The bottleneck is now human imagination. How far can we think? How big can we think? Is what we're thinking the right thing or not? Because AI can come in handy for everything else.
So should I start thinking about my work and start delegating it in certain buckets that says things I like doing, things I don't like doing, and I'm going to give the things I don't like doing to any number of AI agents?
Yeah, I think that would be a great starting point. But what the right recommendation would be that before you start doing anything, ask yourself the question, how would I do it if I had an AI teammate? Because the default training of the brain has been, how will I do it? Right? When we wake up and say, okay, I got to write a market report. I got to write a strategy document. I got to write it, right? But if we start changing our framing to say, okay, I got all these amazing AI teammates on my team. How would I solve this problem leveraging AI? And sometimes AI can do the pre-work for you. So in my case, I keep an eye on the market a lot. What's happening? What AI announcements are happening? What are people doing in the industry? And that pre-work for my strategy thinking is equally important for me as the strategy. So my agents run in the morning, get me all the information that I need to consume to be able to make smarter, better decisions. Now that's a new way of thinking about my job.
Sure. So coming back to collaboration, if I have AI agents and you have AI agents, how will our AI agents work together to do something?
Yeah, great question. I think every company, as you know, is creating agents, and they are inside of Atlassian ecosystem. So I mentioned third-party agents like Canva, but also inside of Atlassian, you can also create your own custom agent by going to Atlassian Studio. So I can create a PRD agent or a market research agent that does this work for me on my behalf. Over time, these agents need to talk to each other just like humans talk to each other to truly be a teammate. And there are lots of innovation that are happening in the industry. One is between third parties. There is the MCP server. You might have heard of MCP server, Model Context Protocol servers. We have announced our MCP server, so anybody can integrate with it. For example, yesterday I announced a partnership with Lovable and Confluence, where you could be in Lovable and you can take the Confluence product requirements doc, and Lovable will then turn that into a prototype. And once the prototyping is done, it'll take that prototype, embed it back inside of Confluence, so all your stakeholders can see, here's the product requirements doc, and here's the prototype going along with it. That's possible now because Lovable and Confluence can talk to each other using the MCP server.
Aren't we kind of in a new era of AI? I know AI is relatively new, but I feel like we just went from co-pilots to now agents, and it's a radically different way of thinking, because with co-pilots, I had to know a fair amount about prompting, and I had to get some skills there. It seems like AI agents are just going to make it a lot simpler, and I just kind of say what I need, and I don't have to become a super prompt engineering expert.
That's right. I think you're absolutely right that we are entering a new phase. Using some terminology, the phase one, or the first part of the phase was, I'm doing something, Copilot comes and helps me complete doing it, right? As an example, there were coding copilots where if you're typing code, it helps you complete that. It can write the function details based on what you're trying to do. But now we're entering the world, and by the way, that was true for collaboration in terms of creating content as well, right? You're writing content, it can come in and parse that paragraph, rewrite it, and all that good stuff. But now we're entering a world of agentic AI where we need to reimagine not just what I'm doing and how AI can complete it, but rather how can AI solve core parts of my job in a fairly autonomous, independent ways, and how I can benefit from that. In other words, we're going from a world where humans used to create and AI used to complete or enhance, to a world where AI is going to create and humans are going to edit and combine.
Nice.
It's a fundamental mindset shift where agents can come in and work together to create part of your job that is really high quality output, really good things that you need to get your job done. But then the human comes in the loop in the end and says, okay, I got my market research done through agents. I got competitor research done through agents. Now I can combine all of this stuff using my creativity and tie them together to get to the output. So we're living in an agentic AI world. You will see everybody talk about agents, including Atlassian. And we have amazing set of tools that allow you to take every part of your work and turn them into agents that matter to you.
All right. Interestingly enough, we see all these reports about these so-called failed AI projects, and I think MIT probably has the most widely known report on that. But as I listen to you, maybe the way to go after AI is a lot of smaller things that, that the AI can help us with that might make a bigger difference than some of these, home run type projects that people tried to do and maybe AI is not quite ready for.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely cases where I would encourage everybody to start with, which are known positive outcome cases. And then there are experimental cases as well where you should apply AI. So I'll start with the first bucket. All of us write content, create content of some sort, right? If you're a marketer, you're creating marketing plans. If you're a product manager, you're creating some product requirements doc. And if you're an engineer, you're also completing and creating code. In that category, AI is producing tremendous amount of returns. It's an area which is very well understood by now, and you can start using those kinds of AI tools to help you accomplish that. For example, Robo. Robo can help you write code. Robo can also help you provide status updates that I just talked about. And Robo can also help you manage your Jira space, and you don't have to manually manage that. Those are areas that are going to improve your productivity significantly. But there's also an experimental set of areas that I think I would encourage customers to try out. For example, setting up admin tasks in Jira can now be done with AI significantly well. So you are a Jira admin and you want to manage the permissions, the access, and all that stuff. AI can come in handy very well over there as well, right? And when you talk about agents, the ability to create no-code agents, meaning literally by prompting and you can say, okay, this is what I want to do, right? And you don't need to know any code, is extremely powerful. Yesterday in the keynote, we demoed how you can use Atlassian Studio to create an app for Jira without writing a single line of code. Now that would have required your IT team to do a bunch of coding, Similarly, we just did a podcast where we talked about how Atlassian human resources team is using agentic AI to onboard new employees. So every new employee that joins Atlassian now has an agent called Nora. That individual can talk to Nora and get all the answers around their onboarding. And the best part is it's personalized. So if you're in legal and I'm in HR or finance, it's personalized for our onboarding because your onboarding is probably different than my onboarding. You need legal context, I need HR context. And all of that stuff, Nora manages that. And guess what? It was written or it was created by two individuals in HR organization who have no idea how to write code. Previous to AI, that would have required working with the IT team, getting on their backlog, creating code, publishing code, testing code, and all that stuff. In the world of AI, onboarding is something that every company does, but onboarding through agent is now a proven playbook that our customers and everybody can apply because you don't require any coding skills, special skills. And by the way, our HR team feels very proud of it because they did it without requiring any help, which is an incredible milestone in my opinion,
Which all sounds pretty amazing. Hey, folks, you heard it here. AI agents are going to be your new best friends at work, and maybe you might actually enjoy work a lot more than ever. Hey, buddy, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll be back in a minute.